Oh, man. Thank you. Thanks, Brad. I really am excited to be here. It's a privilege to be and an honor to be here. And we wanted today, I noticed that, is that echoing to y'all? No? Okay. David said, we're all here, raise your hand if we want to be more successful, more profitable, more healthy, more everything, right? So when I was looking at this, when he asked me to speak a year ago, I volunteered and said yes. Well, then he called me 2 weeks ago and says, oh, you're going to speak. I said, that was a year ago. He canceled it. So I said, okay, what is it that these people would like to hear that me, a little country boy from Florida to Texas, U.S. world, could teach them? What is it that they're here for? And I decided you were here, since I'm an auctioneer, to hear me auction. That's because I'm conceited and I want to auction. So we're going to have an auction. Y'all want to have an auction? My lovely wife, Amy, is right here. Stand up, hon. Stand up. I want people to see I'm married. Now, what she has is a $100 bill. Now, this is a true $100 bill. It's not counterfeit. It's not fake. And we're going to auction it off. And the terms are, everyone who buys it has to pay for it. You're going to write a check for it, okay? This is an audience participation game. All right. How many people have never been to an auction before? That's all you have to do. Just raise your hand just like that, all right? All right, here we go there, and how many dollars? Who'll give $10 for it? I'm going to give $10, 20, 20, 30. I'm going to get 30 to go, 40 to bid, 40 to buy. I'm going to get $40 is bid, 50 way over here, $60. I'm going to 7 to go, 7 to bid, 80. I'm going to 80, now 90, now 90, now $100. Here, but give $100 is bid, 110, 10, 10, 110, but get 10. I'm right here at $100, 110, 10, 10, but get 10. Now, you know what? I forgot to tell you something. Everyone who buys this 100 is going to get the 100. But you get to write the check, not to Assiter Auctioneers, not to Jody Holland, but to any charity you wish. You write it to your church, the charity of your choice, all right? Who'll give 110 for it? I'm going to give 10, 20. I'm going to give 120, 20, 20 to bid, 20 to buy. I'm going to give 110, 120 in the back, now 30. I'm going to give 130, 40. I'm going to give 40 with the lady, 50. I'm going to give 100, half, 150, 60, 160, half. Sold it right there, sir. Stand up, get it, $150. Yeah, give him a big hand. He just spent 1.5 times what that was worth. Now, what's amazing about that? It's the value of anything. We all thought that $100 bill was worth what? $100. But to him, it's worth 1.5 times that, 150. And why is that? The value of that 100 to many of us was only 100. Why did one person here think it's worth 1.5 times that? It's because he had a perception that he could trade that 100 for 150 in tax deduction. He gets to deduct 150 and give his charity the money, but it only cost him 50 when he gets 150 value. You see, we as individuals all have a perception of what we're valued at. There's a value of anything. I am valuable. Was that on the list? I didn't come up with it when I first did. I am valuable. So what we have to do to be successful, to earn more money, to get and grow, is to become more valuable to our employees, to our team, to our customers. Because if they perceive we're worth 150 instead of 100, what happens? Then we get promoted, we make more profits, we are more valuable because the owners have to get a return on investment. So what can we do to be more successful? We as individuals have the opportunity to be more successful. Now, I'd like to take credit for all the information I'm going to give you today, but I didn't write all of it. A lot of it came from this book, The Road Less Stupid. A gentleman by the name of Keith Cunningham wrote it, and if you don't have it, I'd suggest it, especially if you're a business owner. I want to give credit where credit's due. And I liked it so much that I started studying under Keith and going to a program called the 4-Day MBA. He has it in Austin, Texas. And if you like this stuff, I'd recommend you go. Keith says in the book, I got me a cheat sheet here because I can't see to the side, that there are 4 different types of hats to wear. 4 different types of hats. First of all, we become artists. Now, artists' focus is passion. What an artist does is they want to create things. Their plan is to create it, to have fun. When I started out, I had a passion, an artist of being an auctioneer. I thought it was so cool that somebody could talk that fast. It was my passion. It was my art. My strategy was to start it. Start a company. I love my auction company. It's my little baby. I love my baby. All artists love their babies. Their strategy is to start it. Their outcome is fulfillment, their hobby. And their motto, if it's not fun, I'm not going to do it. We all know an artist, right? Then from an artist, when they start their own company, they become an operator. An operator, the technician. Now, their focus is time and effort, which means that the more time I spend, the more effort I spend on my company, the more profitable I'll be. Y'all know an operator? Their strategy is to do it. They got to react. There's a fire and they got to go put it out. There's an outcome. The business runs you. The motto, if it's going to get done, then I'll have to do it. That's where most of us are. We're in the operator mode. But there's a different hat, a separate hat, and that's the hat of the owner or the business. See, when you become the owner, you don't have to operate it because now you use leverage. You use the employees. You use structure to help you be more valuable. Your plan's to monetize it. You want to have more profit. Your strategy is to lead it, to coach those individuals. Your outcome is to run the business. Now you're not putting out the fires. You're trying to figure out what started the ding-dong-dang fire. That's what the owners do. They measure results and change activities. Once they change activities, they measure those results, and then they change activities again. And then they measure, they change, and they measure, and they change, and they measure, and they change until they make so much money that they wear the 4th hat. The 4th hat is the investor, the board member. A board member's focus is thinking, WDIS. What don't I see? You see, we all have assumptions that our company or our employers or our team members are going to do it a certain way. There's an assumption there, and those assumptions a lot of time are wrong. So an investor's always thinking, what don't I see? They want to keep it, sustain it. They play defense. They've put their money together. They invested their money, and they don't want to lose that money. And I'll bet if we go over the last 30, 35 years to the Super Bowl or to the NBA championships, the teams with the best defense have won. Now, you got to have an offense. I understand that. You got to score points. But the team with the defense, the investor is always on defense. Their outcome is resources. They want to make money so they can use those resources to invest in other things. They really pay attention to risk, and their motto is, not so fast, cowboy, because there's a 3-part rule. 3-part rule. Now, we always know of 2 rules. One is when you're going to invest money, you look at the risk and you say, what's the upside? Y'all do that? What's the upside? And then what do you think next? What's the downside? Now we're very optimistic on the upside. We're always very willing to have the upside. We really believe in this idea that this investment's going to work, and we're overly optimistic at the upside, and we kind of say the downside is, there's not much risk here. There's not, but there is. The 3rd part, the one none of us seem to do well, except the big investor, the 3rd part is, if that downside happens, can I live with the consequences? There's an upside, there's a downside. If the downside happens, can I live with the consequences? You know, I talked to a gentleman one time that was looking at buying a nursery, a children's daycare. And he says, this is going to be profitable. It's going to be great. Everything's going to be wonderful. And I said, are you sure? What happens if something happens to one of those children? Oh my gosh. I said, that's right. Your name's going to be in the paper. Your name's going to be on TV. Can you live with that downside? He said, I can't live with that. So we need to look as, if we're wearing the investment hat, the three-part theory. So now that we know that there's hats, each one of us, Jody, this is really good. I'm really liking this. You did a nice job taping that on me. I give Jody one job. Put this microphone on me. Quit fiddling with it. I'm one of the most high maintenance people you got. So if we want to be successful, we have got to go from point A to point B. Is that right? Would you agree with that? We all have a point A. Now, right before lunch, our previous speaker had us write down 3 things, 3 goals we wanted to do in 60 days. Is that right? So that's our point B. Point A. Now, I grew up in Florida, Texas, and that is the pumpkin capital of the world. I didn't fall off a pumpkin truck. I fell off a damn a turnip truck. I fell off a pumpkin truck. And so Halloweeny, as we called it, is one of our favorite holidays because on Halloweeny, we don't have to pick up any more pumpkins and put them on a truck. Right? The work's over. So I got to thinking about when I put these socks on. Y'all like those? I had my shoes on the wrong feet for a while. You'd really like that, wouldn't you? What's my favorite holiday? Halloween. It's coming up. So I got to thinking, what can we do to use an example from A to B? So I came up with little children. They dress up as what? Dorothy, the Tin Man, the Scarecrow, the Cowardly Cat, right? Oz. So we land in A, which is Munchkin country, right? And we want to get to B, which is Oz. And right there in the middle, I don't know how to work this thing, Jody. Pull the trigger. Yeah. You see that right there? That's the best witch I could find. That's a wicked witch of the West. You see, anytime we start going from A to B, the wicked witch is there with flying monkeys. There's an obstacle. There's a problem. Right? We just can't walk over there and get it. There's fires for the Scarecrow. We're the wicked witch of the West. If we want to get there, now the key is, here's the key. The key is to find out what the wicked witch of the West and how we can understand what that obstacle is and we can resolve that obstacle. That's what's keeping us from Oz, the obstacle. And most of the time when we look to solve that, we lurch to the tactical. We lurch for the things that I don't have enough sales. I don't have the right team members. I don't have enough cash. We lurch for what's tactical instead of what's strategic. So what we need to do is that we need to, first of all, start where we are. We're in Munchkinville, right? That's where we landed. Now, this is kind of the most difficult part of it, is to say, here's where we are to start with. And the reason it's hard or it's difficult is because we're not truthful with ourselves. We got an ego, like I said this morning when I was going to auction that off. We have an ego that we are better than where we were. We sugarcoat it, right? We sugarcoat where we are. In reality, we've got to get clarity on where we are, because if we don't know where we are, how in the world can we get to Oz? If we want to fly to Paris, France, if I wanted to take my lovely wife to Paris, France, and we're going to leave from Amarillo, Texas, that's the first thing when you buy a ticket, where you start. It's a whole different route. It's a whole different atmosphere if I'm going to start in Amarillo, Texas, than if I'm going to start in Germany. We have to know where we are. Do analysis. Where am I? What are my assets? What team members do I have? How much money do I have? How much time do I have? What other resources can I call on? Because we got to know where we are before we can get to where we want to be. Now, this line is the outline. It's the line to Oz, right? Now, the outline is what we're looking to be. It's our goals. It's our visions. It's the things we filled out before lunch. That's our outline. We all know what an outline is, right? So we got our is line, the most difficult. We got our outline, and right here, there's a gap, right? That gap, and that gap, help. I learned that from the previous speaker. That outline, the gap, is what we think's the obstacle, right? There's the obstacle. That's what's keeping me from getting to Oz, right? If you agree with that, shake your hand. Yes, yes, okay, that's it. All right, so what I want to do is I want to say, what is the obstacle? What's the true obstacle that's keeping us from getting to Oz, right? Because I think that the obstacle this is the hardest part of the exercise, coming up with the obstacle. You see, the obstacle is not really what we think it is. Y'all still got those pieces of paper he passed you out and a pen? All right, take a second. Write down the 3 things, the obstacles that are keeping you from Munchkinville to Oz. What's keeping you from getting there? 3 things. Write them down real quick. Okay, that's good. Exercise over. You got them? Okay. What is the barrel we have to jump over? That's what you just wrote down, right? The obstacle? I don't believe it. I believe that you wrote down a symptom to the true obstacle. You see, you might have wrote down, I don't have enough sales. I don't have enough team members. I don't have enough employees. I got employee problems. I got culture problems. Those are all symptoms. That's not the core problem. You see, if we solve the problem that isn't, we've wasted time and resources. You might want to write that down. If we solve the problem that isn't, we've wasted time and resources. And if we're solving what we think's the problem, but it's actually a symptom, we haven't solved the problem at all. Look up here. Here it comes. Here it comes. You ready? Right there. You see that little ball right there? That's the obstacle. This other is the gap. It's the symptom. You see those 2 lines that look like this? With that barrel in the middle, it can't get closer and closer and closer. The obstacle is not out here on the right, it's right down here. We got to come up with what the core obstacle is. So let's use this as an example. An example is that what is the core problem? The cause, not the effect, the system. So if you said your problem was inadequate sales, I'm going to say it's not inadequate sales. It could be your consumer's not buying enough. Your customers aren't buying enough. The consumers are buying from my competition. There's not enough prospects. They're not closing enough. The lack of referrals, there's no repeat business. That could be the problem. The problem's not sales. One of these other things is the obstacle. And you know what really happens? It's going to really make you upset. These could also just be a symptom of the core problem. Oh my gosh. It's going to take some thinking time. Something's wrong. We got to get clarity on the obstacle. I'll give you another example. This morning when I got on the scales, I weighed, sometimes I lie, 5 pounds too much. I might have made that part up. It might have been more. I don't really think I weigh too much. I'm just too short for how much I weigh. When I got on the scales, I weighed too much. So I thought, that's the problem. I thought, I can fix it. I tell you what I'll do. I'll buy Oprah diet book. So I buy Oprah diet book and I read the book, and guess what? I didn't lose any weight. Now Oprah's got 3,000 of these books, so I buy another one and another, and it doesn't work. I said, I know what the problem is. The problem is I need a new pair of sneakers. If I just had a new pair of sneakers, then I could walk and I'd be comfortable and I could lose that weight. Well, that didn't work. And I said, ow, the problem is I need I really need a membership to the gym. If I just had a membership to the gym, I wouldn't weigh too much. And after 3 or 4 months, I thought, that wasn't the problem at all. The problem was that if I just had a Peloton bicycle in my house and I could get the whole gym right, oh my gosh, that's not the problem. You know what? I travel so much that if I just had a jump rope that I could put in my suitcase, that I could solve the problem. They're all symptoms. The problem is, the core problem is I don't exercise and don't diet. I don't eat the right stuff. All those other things are just symptoms. You following me? We have to get clarity on the obstacle that is causing us not to reach us. The difference, there's no difference. I like this one. What's the difference that makes the difference? What's the difference that makes the difference for people to buy your product instead of your competitor's product? What's the difference in your company and your competitors for this service? What's the difference that makes the difference that the supervisor uses my services instead of my partner's services? What's the difference that makes the difference? That could be used in a lot of them. So here we are. We got the obstacle. We know what the obstacle is. So now we have to solve that obstacle, right? So in order to solve that obstacle, we have to do something every day. You see, ordinary things done consistently create extraordinary results. I paused again. You might want to write that down. Ordinary things consistently done create extraordinary results. What are we saying here? If I wanted to go to the gym for get in shape, and I did, and I spent 24 hours there, round the clock. I drank Red Bulls and Sparks, and I worked out, and I ran 2 marathons, and I lifted weights, and I did push-ups, and I did pull-ups, and I swam 20 miles. And after 24 hours, I still wouldn't be in shape. I'd be sore, but I wouldn't be in shape, right? So things consistently done every day. If I did 30 minutes or an hour consistently, what can I do today to move the needle that'll make me better than I was yesterday? What is it that I can consistently do on a daily basis? I need to make more sales calls. I need to do cold calls. You may not like it, but every time you do a little bit of those, it changes. It creates it. It continues to go. Ordinary things, daily things. You don't have to go out and create some big elephant, monster, whale, gigantic shark. Do ordinary things, but do them every day. Erin said, I remember she's talking about the team meetings she's going to have, and she canceled them all, and it took her 2 weeks to get it away. The problem is to-do lists don't work. To-do lists don't work. We have to set calendar time. Otherwise, we do fake work. We show up to work, and what do? We get coffee, and then we go and we check our emails, and then we kind of go to the bathroom and get another coffee, and then we check our emails again. Then we make a couple of phone calls, and then we check our emails again, and then we organize a few files. We do fake work. We're not doing anything that moves the needle to us. We're not taking a step on the yellow brick road. Ordinary things. Simple things, but they have to be consistently done, will move the needles and get you to where you want to be, and that's Oz. So what are some of those things? What strategic required strategies? Success requires strategy. That's what I'm trying to say. Success requires strategy, and strategy requires clarity on the obstacle or the problem. A plan to overcome the obstacle. A plan. Dorothy just didn't take off going across the field. She followed the yellow brick road. She had to have a plan. She had to have a structure. Somebody had to put the bricks in place. Somebody has to set the processes, the structure, the plan that we can follow in order that we can get to Oz. We have to prioritize our time and our activities. You'll notice that Dorothy only picked up 3 hitchhikers. The Scarecrow, the Tin Man, and the Lion. She didn't take 100 of us with her. She had to prioritize and says, I only have time if I'm going to get home to take this much. We have to prioritize and say, I don't need to check my email 6 times a day. Once in the morning, once at night will be enough. Let's stop doing fake work and let's set calendar time and do the things, the little things that'll get us to where we want to be. An analysis of risk. Now, Dorothy didn't have the opportunity to look at risk. She took off, but there's risk out there. There's flying monkeys, right? There's fire. We have an opportunity, put our investor hat on, to think of what risk it's going to take. What resources am I going to allocate? And if I allocate those resources to this activity, then I'm going to have to say no and use those. I can't use those resources over here anymore. If I say I have 3 of my people going to go make sales calls, those 3 people can no longer be at the office filing paperwork. I allocated those resources, prioritize the resources, analyze the risk. We all want to be A players. An A player. You know, I'm talking about Dorothy. If we was on a basketball team and Dorothy was on the basketball team, she's not going to take the munchkins to go with her. They're 3 foot tall. They can't dunk the ball. They're not A players. She needs a 7-foot basketball player. We all need, if you're a business owner, 7-footers. If you work for a company, you want the people underneath you to be 7-footers. If you work for a company, you want the people on the same level as you to be A players, 7-footers. We want our supervisors to be A players, 7-footers. A players are HEINTS. They have a high internal emotional need to succeed. Each one of you, all the people, even the ones that you don't think's worth a ding-dong-dang working on your team, they don't get up in the morning and say, well, hell, I don't want to succeed today. I want to succeed. Everybody wants to succeed. Our job as managers is to help them succeed, to coach them to be successful. If they're successful and we help them, then they're going to help us. If we help the people above us, they're going to love us. They're going to love us. And when it comes time for promotion, they're going to pick me. Me. I love me. Good looking devil, you. High internal emotional need to succeed. They love to be measured. They love to be measured. What gets measured gets done. What gets measured gets done. If I picked you, sir, and I said, here's what you got. You've got a rope and a ladder, and there's no doors and there's no windows, but you got to get everybody out of here in 30 minutes. And I'm going to check back with you in 15 minutes to see how you're done. Now repeat it. What did I just tell you?
I'm going to give you a rope and a ladder, get everybody out of here in 30 minutes, and 15, I'll come back and check on you.
So in 15 minutes when I'm coming back and I check on, he knows that he's going to get measured. Therefore, he has an A player, and he's going to do his dead level best to get everybody out of here in 30 minutes. And when I come back in 15 minutes, there's 100 people here, and he's got 60 out. I'm going to say, wow, you did good. What gets recognized gets done well. You did good. I'm proud of you. Now you're going to do the rest of the job well. And what gets rewarded gets repeated. So then if I said, here's $100 because you did so good, he's going to continue to do good. Right? A players like to be measured. When I was in school, there's a girl named Kathy Hale, and report card day, y'all remember report card day when you was in 6th or 7th, 8th grade? Report card day was Kathy Hale's favorite day. She skipped to class because she knows she got all A's. I hated report card day. She got a report card and she took it home to mom and dad, and they said, oh, Kathy, you're the smartest one. You're so great. I took my report card home to dad. He said, You could have done better. 3 D's and an F? You could have done a lot better. I said, Dad, you think it's because of my environment or because of my heredity? Let me say that again so you can get it. She loved report card day. A players are competent. They ask for coaching. They solve problems. Success is having the right person with the right skills in the right job at the right time to solve the right problem, produce the right results. That's success. That's success. In order to be an A player, we need to live by the rules of the game. What are the rules? What are the guardrails? What can we get what we tolerate. If we don't tolerate average, they're going to be A players. Do the right thing. Do the best you can. Show others that you care. Let's do the right thing. Let's have a plan and work the plan. Let's figure out what the yellow brick road is, and let's figure a way to go down the yellow brick road with our plan. Let's measure our results. Make sure we're on track. Make sure we got 50 people out of here within 15 minutes. Be accountable, see it, own it, solve it, do it. That's what A players do. That's what our managers want us to do. That's what our employees, our owners want our employees to do. They all want us to be A players. That's what our customers want us to do. They want us to be A players. They want us to do the best we can. We want to turn problems into opportunities. We're going to add value, becoming part of the solution. We're going to act with a sense of urgency. We're going to do it now. We're going to ask the question, what else can I do? What else can I do better? What can I do better? We're going to reject average. We're going to reject good enough. We're going to learn more. We're going to improve. We're going to grow. We're going to correct. How would it be if you're an owner or a manager, if all your team came into you for the next 2 weeks, every day at 5 o'clock and said, what else can I do to help? What can I do better? How would that change your whole company? How would it be if you're a manager and one of your problems comes with you with a problem? How many of your people, you're the manager, and how many of your employees come with problems that you think, why didn't you fix this? Anybody ever have that? All the time? You're the same way for your employer. So if there's a problem, how would it be if we had A players that said, here's the problem, here's 3 solutions that I came up with, and I like this one best, and here's why. Now, if you did that, you think you'd be the guy that got the promotion next time? We need to be A players. A players. Show others you care. Show respect. Say please, thank you, you're welcome, I'm sorry. Show and express gratitude. I got you back. Engage as a team. I just finished reading the book, Joe Lombardi, the Canyon basketball girls coach. He won 19,000 and something games, and he won 90% of the basketball games in 42 years, 19 state championships. He won 1,000 games before he lost 100 because of team. In the book, he says it over and over and over. I didn't have any superstars. I had a team. We need to be a team. The question is, my question for you is, in conclusion is, do you want to create or be a part of an A team? That's what you need to leave here and think about. Do you really want to be a part of an A team? Because if you do, you can go from Munchkinville to Oz. And if you get to Oz, you really find the right destination, and that's home. If you want to do those things, I think it's very simple. We got 4 hats. Those hats are interchangeable. We have to decide which hat we're going to wear at what time of the day and make decisions on that hat. We have the rules of the game. They are, do the right thing, do the best you can, and show others you care. And number 2, we can get to Munchkinville to Oz if we get clarity on the true obstacle. Not a symptom, but the true obstacle. And once we get clarity on that, we make a plan, follow that plan, assess the risk, and and use the correct resources to get there. Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate your time. I do love you, love you. Thank you very much.